Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from class A P220CC. We would like to present about hazard identification, risk assessment and risk control of Strata Title Survey. Before that, I will love to introduce all of the team members, starting with Nur Adibah Bt Rahim, Nur Marlina Bt Abdullah, which is me, Nur Syuhadah Bt Mohammad, Umiee Nabila Bt Razak and Wardah Nabilah Bt Mustafa. Moving on to the next slide. The first activity that we will discuss is establish control station during resurvey the boundary lot. The hazard that could appear during establishing the control station are improper station location. For example, the station is located at hilly areas or near to main road that we know will have a lot of car that comes from any direction. So, by having an improper station location, it might be dangerous to the worker if they are on a hilly areas, as they could slip or fall down the hill since the working area is very confined. Besides, they also could get involved in an accident as they standing beside the busy main road. Resulting from this, the observer are risked to have a permanent injury such as broken arm, broken leg, or worse, fatal injury which leading to death. Moving on to the next part, the risk analysis form contains of existing risk control and risk assessment. As for existing risk control, the workers are highly recommended to be equipped with personal protective equipment (PPE) by wearing a suitable attire during the field work. For example, wear a brightly colored vest to avoid being knocked off by the vehicles and shoes to avoid from slippery and so on. Furthermore, the worker should create a safe working environment by placing a signboard or cones as a warning to road users if they are working besides the busy main road, so the road user can get a heads up of what is in front of them. The likelihood of these cases is 4. This is because there are many occurrences that could happen to them, thus making the hazard is not unusual, while the severity of this hazard is also 4, which is quite high, as the incident could lead the worker to face fatal injury. Referring to the formula, the risk assessment is 16, which fall under the height category. Hence, an immediate action is required for the risk control to reduce the hazard. By implementing the hierarchy of control, a substitution is needed by establish or relocate the station in the suitable area that are safer. Last but not least, reconnaissance also plays an important role before we start the work, so we can get information about the site area. That's all from me. I will pass my turn to the next presenter, which is Wardah Nabilah binti Mustafa. Thank you.
Thank you to Marlina for presenting the first work activity for Strata Title Survey. Okay, now second work activity that we will discuss is setting up the instrument on survey area. So the hazard that we'll found is falling down object or instrument. This is one of the hazard where the survey work instrument must be setting up manually that propose hazard to the observer. While setting up the instrument, the surveyor does not apply the correct technique, such as when we stand the tripod, we must fix all leg of tripod before we put the total station on it. When we do not do like that, it proposes this hazard. This hazard could affect the instrument breakage. This hazard also potentially bring risk to the instrument, as they may have been falling down and broken. This also bring big problem to surveyor because it has bring loss to company, as the surveying instrument cost 100,000 ringgit to fix it. The next part is the risk analysis, which consists of existing risk control and risk assessment. It's advisable for surveyor to be prepared with a personal protective, which for this work activity. Type of PPE for this hazard it will be proper shoes to conduct the survey work safely, and it can be more easier for surveyor to set up the triangular leg of tripod. It can help surveyor more secure while doing the survey work. So, the likelihood is 4 of this I said is quite high because there are many possibilities of this accident, which make their hazard not usual. The severity of this hazard also 4, as this could bring serious injuries where there is permanent or take long time to recovery. So, according to the risk assessment, will be 16, which is considered high. That means the risk control must be taken to reduce the risk of the hazard. So, the recommended risk control risk for this hazard, which is do the correct manual handling technique. In survey work, there are manual handling assistance is provided. So, surveyor must study how to handle the survey instrument properly. Furthermore, surveyor can work in pairs, so it can ask for help if needed during handling instrument. The survey area also must be safe and least hazard. The surveyor must plan the locating survey area that's safe. So that's all from me. Now I will passing to my friend to explain the third hazard work activity that we have.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Syuhadah Bt Mohammad from AP 22060 and I'm the next presenter. So I will continue the next HIRARC. My work activity is site visit during construction. As we can predict, there will be sharp objects everywhere such as iron rod, construction tools, nails, screw, and else. It can cause the workers to face a first aid injury where it could lead to open cuts, minor abrasion, and others probability. Besides, to avoid unpredictable things to happen, the workers are advisable to wear a proper attire during site visit at construction, such as wearing safety helmet to protect head from hard object, and wear safety shoes in order to protect our foot from stepping on spiky things and hit by hard stuff. For the risk analysis, the likelihood is most likely to occur, but the severity is negligible. So the risk score is 5, which is medium. The risk control recommended control measures is make sure to wear a safety kit before entering the site to avoid an incident occur. That's all from me. Thank you.
Alright, thank you for Nur Syuhadah Bt Mohammad. So, Assalamualaikum. My name is Umiee Nabila binti Razak. I'm from AP 220C. So, we will continue the previous slide for the next work activity in HIRARC form. For the fourth work activity for the title Strata Survey was taking building the dimensions, where we will run or take some dimension of the building in each compartment or floor in the building. Among the dimension of the building, taken such as ceiling height from floor, rooms, accessories, stair, walls, parking lot, corner, and others. At the same time, every job we do will definitely be exposed to hazard as in building dimension measured. There are some hazards that may look like contaminants such as dust in building area. It is divided into two categories, either in dry condition and wet condition. For dry condition, like full dust on the floor, plastic, box, and bottle. For wet condition, such as Wardah and Rahim. The hazard factor will affect ourselves and the people around us. Among the effect we can see from the hazard itself, such as slipping, safety injuries such as cut and bruises, falls, injuries to the neck or spinal cord, and can even occur fractures or the injuries suffered and severe. For risk management, we can also create a solution where if a hazard cannot be eliminated or replaced, sometimes it can be isolated, contained, or kept away from employers. For example, limiting access to high-risk area can also be done to control risk from occurring, or it can also reduce the rate of risk from occurring. So, we go to risk analysis found in this HIRARC form. We can see where the likelihood of this activity is at the third level, which is an unstable state, where the state is likely to occur in the future. While for severity, it is in the first stage, where the condition is negligible, not a condition that is too dangerous for the individual himself and still manageable, such as minor abrasion, bruises, wounds, first aid type injuries. Next, it's risk. For risk analysis, we will use likelihood and severity in qualitative method. The results produced in the risk matrix are a very effective way to communicate the spread of risk across areas in the workplace. Where the product between the two, we will get a value of 3 for risk assessment. Risk identified as low may be considered acceptable and further mitigation may not be required. However, if the risk can be resolved quickly and effectively, control measures should be implemented and recorded. Finally, for the recommended control measure, there are some suggestions that can be used in this activity to reduce the hazard to yourself by wearing PPE. PPE is short for personal protective equipment. Among them is to wear appropriate shoes, safety helmets, and also wear appropriate clothing while in an area under construction. So that's all for me. I leave it to Nur Adibah for the next activity. So remember, safety is our #1 priority. Stay alert and don't get hurt.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Adibah from class AP2206C. So today I would like to present about hazard identification, risk assessment, and risk control, HIRARC. The title of our project is Strata Title Survey. As you can see, the HIRARC form in this slide, which consists of company, process of or location, approved by, date, conducted by, date, from and to, review dates, and next review dates. Okay. So, next is the component in HIRARC form, which is hazard identification, risk assessment, risk control. For my activity, the activity that I choose is carrying instrument to high-rise building area. So the hazard is slipping while bringing the instruments, unstable or unsmooth steps, carrying the heavy instruments, and the surveyor could fall down from the building. The effect is broken instruments, injury to the carrier. It also might cause back pain, and for worse, it can cause fatality. So for the likelihood is 5 and the severity is 4. The risk is 20, which is a high risk. So recommended control measures is 1. Using lift to carry the instruments. 2. Take the instruments with enough safety measure. And 3. Using an appropriate clothing like boots or safety hats. So, okay. The next one is the example of severity, likelihood, and the risk assessment matrix. So, based on the previous slides, our severity is 4, which is fatal. It can approximately one single fatality major property damage if hazard is realized. So, the likelihood is 5, which is the most likely result of the hazard or event being realized. It is the most likely to happen if no safety measure is made. So for the severity is 4 fatal, it may cause fatalities to surveyor or instruments. So for the risk assessment matrix, which is the likelihood is 5 and the severity is 4, which is 20. So it is considered as a high risk. Okay, in the next slide, this is the risk assessment indicator and suggested actions. So our activity is 20. So the risk is 20 and it is high. So the actions that we need is to require immediate action to control the hazard using hierarchy of control. Actions taken must be documented, risk assessment form, and including date for completion. That's all. Thank you.